Erev Tov to everybody. We want to thank David and Esther Fried for sponsoring the video, the short video on Kedoshim. It's Ilui Nishmat Moshe Yitzchak ben Shlomo Chaim, the father of Reb David, and we hope that through the sponsorship and the Divrei Torah, that your father's neshama should have an aliyah in Gan Eden. The Torah starts off in Parshat Kedoshim, the famous words Kedoshim to you, that you have to be holy. And why do we have to be holy? Because Hashem's holy, and each one of us have got a spark in Hashem, so therefore we're capable of being holy as well. And the first law that the Torah speaks about when speaking about holiness is the mitzvah of Kibud Av V'Em. It says, Ish imo v'aviv tirau, that a person has to show awe to his mother and to his father, v'shaptotai tishmaru, ani Hashem Elokeichem. And the question that the Or HaChaim, a lot of the Mefarshim ask is, what in fact is the connection? What is the connection between the injunction to be holy and the first mitzvah that comes afterwards in the context of being holy, of Kibud Av V'Em? What is the connection between these two things? Some people say quite straightforward, is that it's in order to emphasize that our concept of Kibud Av V'Em, of showing respect and honor to our parents, is fundamentally different to the ethos of the general world, even though mamash, there's many societies which really excel, Gentile societies which really, really excel in Kibud Av V'Em, but the basis for the Kibud Av V'Em is different. The basis of Kibud Av V'Em, basically, when it comes to the worldview of Kibud Av V'Em, is that it's based on gratitude that our parents, of course, brought us into the world and gave us so much. And in the Talmud, we find many, many allusions to this concept of gratitude in Kibud Av V'Em. But then the Gemara and also the Rishonim speak about another dimension in the famous statement that every person has got three shutfin. He's got three partners which are responsible for his birth. It's his father, his mother, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's the connection between Kedoshim to you and Kibud Av V'Em. What it's saying is that if we want to have, if we are, let's start it this way, if we are Kadosh, if we look at, we become holy, in other words, become more spiritual beings, so that will help us to focus on Kibud Av V'Em. In other words, we'll always look at our very being, our very birth, as being made up not only of our father and our mother, but also of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That trial, the three partners, the three shutfim, will make us look at our existence and as our parents as partners in a spiritual creation which resulted in us. So then, if that's so, that helps us to fulfill the mitzvah of Kibud Av V'Em. Another way to say it is as follows. The whole inyan, if we wanted to define what typifies a person who's holy, as versus a person who's like profane, who's much more physical, the Maharal, as well as other commentators, they say that the essence of holiness is giving. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is totally spiritual, is totally holy. What does that mean? It means he is self-sufficient, so to speak. He created the world. He doesn't have to receive from anything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a giver. Hashem is totally perfect, and he wants to share his perfection and his goodness with us. He wants us to work for it, but he wants to share it with us. So a person or a being who is holy is someone who's a giver. A person who is profane, a person who's very material, a person who is very physical. So such a person is a taker. By definition, anything that is physical is something which is always in a state of ultimate deterioration. That which is physical is limited, and therefore the physical, if it wants to continue as much as possible, it has to receive. So when we say Kedoshim to you, we are actually saying that Hashem wants us to be givers, to be spirituals and not to takers. And that's why when it comes now to Kibbud Av V'Em, our whole lives, our parents, what they did was they gave us, and now the way in which we can now turn it around, and that instead of being takers from our parents, that we give back to our parents. That is through the sword and the secret of being Kedoshim. The more Kadosh we'll be able to be, the more givers we are, that will enable us to perform the mitzvah of Kibbud Av V'Em, in which we started off as children, as takers, and then as we get older, we try as much as possible to give back to our parents. But there's an interesting like mashal about just on that inyan, that it's not exactly that much possible, because of course, how can we give back to the parents? They gave us ultimate everything, and how do we actually pay them back? How do we turn it around from being givers, from being takers? We received life, and what we're giving back to them. There's a parable about a mother bird who was schlepping her chicks from one place of danger to a place of safety, and she turned around to one of the chicks and she said, "Tell me, when I get older, will you do for me what I've done for you?" And of course, the chick said, "Of course, I'll do it for you, mother." And the chick, what it did was, and the mother had dropped the chick. Then it said to the second one, again, it was taking the second chick to a place of safety, and it was very exhausted. And it says, "Tell me, when I get old, will you do for me what I've now done for you?" I gave the same answer, "Of course, mother, of course I did," and it reprimanded it, and it did it drop. The third time it happened with the third chick, the chick said, when the mother said again, "I'm so exhausted, so difficult for me to do what I'm doing as a mother, but will you, when I get older, do for me what I've done for you?" And the chick says, "No, I won't do that. I'm not able to do that. But what I've learned from you is that what you did for us, I'll do to my children." So that encaptures the idea that we can't ever really give back what our parents gave to us. We can do the maximum. The holier that we are, then the more we're able to be givers and be met to honor our parents properly. But it's so difficult because they gave us love. What we're going to give them back? But we can learn from them how to give to our children. There is another connection between Kibbud Av V'Em and Kedoshim to you, and that is that as parents, if our children see that we lead a life of Kedusha, we lead a life of holiness, of being less material, that enables our children to respect us more. If children see in us just takers, people who are just interested in having a good time, people who are material and only physical, chas v'chalila, so then also that doesn't earn the respect of our children. So that's the other connection, the connection between Kedoshim to you. You be holy, be givers, be people who are spiritual, and that will help your children then, that they will enable you to perform the mitzvah of Kibbud Av V'Em. I'd like to conclude that actually a fascinating thing that the connection between, we're saying Kedusha, holiness, giving, and Kibbud Av V'Em, is found actually in the Shulchan Aruch, in the laws of Shabbat. There is a mystical tradition that every every Shabbat, we know we've got a neshama yetera, we've got an extra spiritual soul. We feel much more elevated on Shabbat as opposed to the weekday, and that's through the neshama yetera, that the gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to the Jewish people. And in the Shulchan Aruch, it's brought down that at the end of Shabbat, when the soul returns back, the Neshama Yetera returns back to its abode in heaven, so Hashem asks, what did you learn extra on Shabbat? What new Kedoshim, what new novel ideas did you comprehend? What new insights did you ascertain when you on Shabbat? And when a person does that, so then a person not only he honors his father and his mother when his soul was able to repeat or to say something which he learned new on Shabbat. The Baal HaTurim on the Torah, it says, he says a hint to it is because at the end of Parshat Ki Tisa, it speaks about Moshe Rabbeinu, that when he came down from Sinai with the second tablets, his face shone. And then the next Parsha, Parshat Vayakhel, speaks about Shabbat. So it speaks about a person who now keeps the Shabbat. He will be able to, that his face will shine. In other words, what it means is that when he comes, the Neshama Yetera comes to heaven, it causes the father's face to get nachas from the child's insights that were accumulated on Shabbat, and that's why also Shabbat and Kibud Av Va'em, they follow the one on the other in the mitzvah of the mitzvot of Aseret HaDibrot. So we started off by speaking about the Torah says you have to be holy, and then the Torah says honor or show awe to your mother and to your father. And we asked what's the connection, and the gist of what we're trying to say is that our concept of Kibud Av Va'em is built on spirituality, that there are three shutfin, and the more that a person is able to be kadosh, they're able and to be like a giver, the more he'll be able to turn things round, and that from being a child who only accepted from his parents will be a child who will also be able to give back to his parents in the form of awe and in the form of love. Shabbat Shalom to Kulam.